Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And as Parliament breaks up for its 10 days of recess, don't know why, they don't deserve it, one of the very last things that happened was Mhairi Black staggering to her feet and making a desperately pitiful and sad plea with Sir Keir Starmer, begging him for a referendum should Labour win the next election. She then also insulted Labour by claiming that they were indistinguishable from the Tory party, and so I suppose he is more minded not to give them the referendum. Not that he was ever minded to do so in the first place, but when you start insulting his party, you know how things are going to go. Obviously, Sir Keir doesn't want a referendum. He doesn't want to be the one who breaks up the UK. So it's a bit of a non-starter anyway. But it's also the fact that even if, in the 1,000,000 to 1 chance that he felt moved to offer a referendum, they're going to lose it anyway. You know, it's talk about a party on the losing side of history here. Anyway, we'll take a look at this piece, see what was said, see what Sir Keir's reaction were, and then basically just sort of a last day sort of overlook on what happened. But it is very, very sad of Mhairi Black to even ask, because she knows the answer before she asks. Why would you ask and make yourself look even more of a loser? Anyway, here goes. Desperate Mhairi Black begs Sir Keir Starmer for an independence referendum deal and then labels him a Tory. And the SNP's deputy Westminster leader wants to bargain with UK Labour, but she also called them Tories in a mismatched comment on Sir Keir Starmer's visit to Rutherglen. And there she is. She's just honestly thick as champ, that one. Absolutely. The SNP's deputy Westminster leader has begged Sir Keir Starmer for an independence referendum deal. She urged Labour to let the Scots decide our own future on the day Sir Keir campaigned in Rutherglen to boost the profile of the candidate Michael Shanks. It will be a key battleground between the SNP and Scottish Labour if the incumbent, Margaret Ferrier, is forced to step down. She undoubtedly will be, despite all the little grubby deals that Labour are doing. It is disgusting that they pulled that vote. See my previous video on that. MPs will vote on whether to uphold her 30-day suspension next month, probably on around the 5th of June. But the fact that they pulled it when they said, there's not enough people in the chamber, which was actually a lie, because you only need 35, and they were sitting there. There was more than 35. The evidence is there. What they looked at was there wasn't enough there that they could count on to keep her in place. And that was the important thing, because they needed to not set that precedent in order to keep Boris in place when his case goes through. Anyway, Sir Keir spoke about how the former SNP MP had let down her constituents for far too long. He's referring, of course, to Ferrier. As he predicted that a by-election will be held this year, and I think he's 100% right. Labour are pushing for it. They want that seat. They know they can win it. It's almost certain they're going to win it, in fact. Speaking to journalists following the visit, he said, "It's going to happen. Parliament, I'm sure, will vote to uphold the sanction, and I've no doubt there will be a recall petition, and I've no doubt there will be a by-election. And I, personally, have no doubt that Labour will win." But following the government's decision to pull the vote that could trigger the petition and the responsibility on the SNP to file the writ that would vacate the seat, the Labour leader issued a warning about the timing. He said the constituency has been let down for too long and we need to get on with this by-election, and nobody should be dithering and delaying, whether it's the Tories or the SNP. They have no right to deprive this constituency of the effective representation it deserves. There are rumours of a deal between the SNP and the Tories in order to keep Ferrier in her position, and that way they can keep Boris in his. And isn't it weird that the SNP shall do a deal to keep Boris Johnson in his seat? That's amazing. Anyway, Ms Black used this opportunity to bargain with Sir Keir in an attempt to show that the Nationalists still wanted their independence referendum. Her boss, Beryl Flynn, has previously ruled out a deal with the Tories for a Skexit vote, and the UK Labour have ruled out the same with the SNP. So nobody wants to touch the SNP with a barge pole. Ms Black said under Sir Keir Starmer, the pro-Brexit Labour Party has become indistinguishable from the Tories on so many key issues. This includes delaying Scotland's democratic right to choose our own future in an independence referendum. Anyway, I will remind the Honourable Lady, of course, that in 2014 she had that vote and that Scotland voted to remain in the UK. You can't moan about democracy when democracy goes the way of the majority. She said, on his flying visit, Starmer must outline the exact terms under which the people of Scotland can decide their own future. He mustn't. He must. Must he? Must he? Who says he must? You say he must. He doesn't have to. He's under no obligation to do so. Voters have already said they want to remain. Voters made their choice. And so, therefore, Scotland remains. It's simple. That's how democracy works, Mhairi Black. Anyway, she said, if all we get is more waffle from the Labour Party leader on this issue, it will be clear he's just as bad as the Tories when it comes to disrespecting the Scottish democracy. Well, not accepting the vote of the majority is disrespecting Scottish democracy. And that seems to be you and the SNP, Mhairi Black. You're disrespecting Scottish democracy. She said the SNP is the only party standing up to protect Scotland's democracy and offering a real alternative to Westminster control with independence. Voting SNP is the only way for Scotland to get rid of unelected Tory governments for good. I believe all Tory governments are elected, unless I've misread how this works. She says, and a strong team of SNP MPs will, it's almost like the Politburo, isn't it? She said they will force Westminster to take real action on the cost of living. I think she's also not, understanding how the SNP won't exist as a force after the next election. They're going to lose about half their seats. They will just be a tiny little fringe group in Westminster because people of Scotland are fed up with them, basically, and they want change. So there she is. She's sitting there. She's pushing a dead point. She keeps going on about independence. Even though they've had the vote, she lost the vote. She wants another vote. And she'll keep wanting it. Indie Ref 3, Indie Ref 4, Indie Ref 5, this time it's personal. Indie Ref 6, Hong Kong. It's like that. It's the way it's going with these people. Even if she gets it and they get Scottish independence, nobody will be happy. It'll go down the pan so fast, your feet won't touch under this one-party state with Kim Il-hunza running the party. Not that he'll be in charge, let's face it. He'll be gone after the Westminster elections, assuming he makes it to the Westminster elections. That's touch and go. Anyway, I shall round off and come up and we are done. Well, she keeps asking for this independence referendum that she's already had and lost. Nobody wants to give her it. But then think about it. If on the 1 in a million chance somebody decided, oh, go on then, we'll give you the referendum. And in the then 1 in a million chance that they won it. Just imagine what Scotland would be like in basically a one-party state, independent Scotland, where the SNP were micromanaging every aspect of everybody's lives. Every business would have a party representative on the board. It would be a complete totalitarian state. It would be like the Soviet Union, and it would fail. Only the Soviet Union lasted like 80 years, 70 odd years. This wouldn't last 70 weeks. I don't see it like an independent Scotland under the SNP wouldn't last a year. It would collapse almost instantly. And then Scotland would be begging to come back into the Union. The SNP need to give it up, really, don't they? It's never going to happen. Anyway, that's enough. I can do a video just on that. So I shall stop now. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see here on the channel, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and until next time, stay safe, stay well. Just keep an eye out for this whole Rutherglen fiasco because it's going to come and we're going to cover that in detail. So keep an eye out for that. And until next time, goodbye.